So 70. Let's try that again. 17 Year WoW Addict gives honest opinion on Final Fantasy XIV. Let's freaking get it.
Growing up, I was always a huge fan of Final Fantasy, especially 7. From Crisis Core on PSP to even Advent Children.
Cloud.
Yes, the movie.
My
10
little
out
Cloud.
of 10. I always knew that the Final Fantasy genre had a strong reputation in gameplay and story. However, when it came to the MMO, Final Fantasy XIV, I thought it was uncomparable to WoW. The god MMO at that time. But expansions to expansion, WoW kept disappointing everyone. The cycle continued, as well as Blizzard never listening to their loyal players. This is how the famous MMO lost its reputation.
It's so sad.
I'll show you 3 simple steps of what the main problem was. A new expansion is now publicly announced, and the beta is released. Players spend countless of hours on beta, testing the game out and point out all the problems that exist.
Right.
The game is now released, and the problems are still there for months and months. Players keep pointing out to Blizzard that this must be changed, but it is simply ignored. Majority of the players quit now. Then Blizzard starts making changes at the end of expansion to save their player base. Hey, we're making good changes. You guys can come back now. And does this work? Yes, it actually works for the majority of the loyal fans that played this game for years.
That's the 915 is gonna be great, and you'll come back crawling, you betrayer.
Copium.
That's right. You just wait, you'll see.
Some do manage to leave from this toxic relationship. But
Next
many
expansion is
are
going to be
still
the
trapped.
best expansion.
The endless
Copium.
cycle is continued. However, not for me. Today, I would like to share a story with you of how I became the warrior of Chad. August 8th, 2021. Many of the WoW veterans were already migrating to other worlds. Even for me at the time, I was playing Lost Ark off-stream on a Russian server, with a bit of classic TBC to continue my copium journey. I was in a battleground farming honor points, along with the daily messages. Savix, would you ever consider trying Final Fantasy XIV? And I would simply reply with, the game looks bland and it's unappealing to me. For some reason, I was pretty close-minded in trying Final Fantasy XIV. Then, on that same day, I was reacting to videos because of how boring this honor farm was. And the video that was requested was called 15-Year WoW Nerds First Impression of Final Fantasy XIV PvP.
Okay.
My viewers knew I was a PvP fiend, so they threw in a little bait, and it worked. I told everyone that day that I would try Final Fantasy XIV. And with a little bit of push from my friends, I was in. I needed to see what this game was all about. Savix's Adventure of Final Fantasy XIV Episode 1 has started. For a couple of days, I played the game off stream, so I wouldn't have any distractions. I wanted to fully experience and immerse myself into this game, then give it a rating, since I've heard so many mixed comments about it. It was a new beginning in this world called Eorzea. The game was not bad at all. It was nothing like I imagined. When I said the game looked unappealing and bland, what was I thinking? This game is a piece of art.
Art. Pure art.
It was
The
a
best
fresh
form.
breath of air. And it reminded me of how fun it is to try and explore in a new game. I did also run into a few problems, such as being way too used to WoW's interface. For some reason, I found it very difficult to navigate in this UI, especially the map. I cannot get around Oda. It was
It took me a while to get used to the Final Fantasy
Another
map
thing
as
I
well,
noticed right
to be
away
honest.
was
They're changing it.
a lot of reading. This game had a lot of reading, and I suck at reading. Honestly speaking, playing this game really helped me improve my reading skills.
Dude, that's gonna be me playing
Slowly
Endwalker, trying
but
to read all the
surely,
cutscenes.
I understood what kind of MMO this was. and I for sure fell in love with it.
So beautiful.
The little details it had amused me, especially the fact that it showed rings when you equipped it. I know it's something stupid, but in what game do rings show? As well as neck pieces. I thought it was so cool. I progressed and learned more about this game every day. I even ended up watching an hour 30-minute documentary of how this MMO was recreated.
Oh yeah, I wanna watch that.
Back in 2010.
I gotta watch that.
This allowed them to create one of the most epic trailers. A realm reborn, a new beginning. Even watching it now, it's so epic. I've seen this so many times now.
So good.
If you haven't seen this trailer yet, you should definitely go watch it.
Yeah, I gotta watch the No Clip documentary.
And I'm so sorry, but I have to pause the video here. From this documentary, I learned how much these developers actually cared about the game and their fan base. I loved how open they were to the audience, and big respect to Yoshi P for not tying down their players to play their game. In fact, in the newer interviews, he was encouraging players to explore and try out new games. Where in my other game that I used to play, I felt like we were being abused. And there was no time for other games. Not until this moment. My journey continued throughout the great expansions. And along the way I've met and made so many new friends. And I would like to thank them all from the bottom of my heart for giving me one of the best experiences. We visited houses together, took a lot of pictures, went to the Golden Saucer, raced our chocobos, and my grass-fed organic Omega Boy made me proud. I'll never forget that 12-hour Bahamut run.
Oh my god.
That was a trip. And big shoutouts to Mada K for teaching me and Miso the legendary fights. I even downloaded Heaven's Fall Simulator to master one of the fights.
Oh my
god. It actually helped me get so good at landing those.
Cool.
I guess you could say I nailed it. Okay, before we move on, I want to show you guys this mock. Look at it, it's so cool. These white people happy. I
the white people happy.
I also had the honors to attend to these beautiful weddings. Congratulations to all of you guys and thank you for having me. And not to forget the jumping puzzles.
Yes.
They are omega fun to do and super addicting. Mother K also sucks at this. And last but not least, 1v1 duels. From what I witnessed, Alice was farming everyone as a samurai. Even me. But I got one clean win as a ninja against her. Easy peasy. There is so much more to this game than any other. It felt like a complete MMO. I couldn't think of anything that this game did not have. Maybe you guys could answer that in the chat.
Chat, what does this game not have?
This game was not about doing laps around Dalaran or Ouroboros waiting for
Ghost.
queues. It had so much more, and the social aspect to this game was amazing. Time to time, we would sit down in our FC and share stories, or even talk about life. It's going to sound funny, but I felt so connected to my online friends, especially during the pandemic.
That's so cute.
And finally, I would like to thank the whole Final Fantasy XIV community for being one of the best communities out there. So far, I have not ran across a single toxic behavior. Literally zero. Where in other games, I would receive hateful messages time to time. Hats off to you guys. And I guess the right way to close off the video is giving it my opinion, since that is the reason I started playing this game. I actually have a lot of things I would like to say, but I will keep it short. Starting from the story, I think the story is amazing. I did my best in this video to not put in any spoilers at all. I wanted to show a lot of epic scenes, but that is for you to try out when you play this game, or if you decide to play this game. It is a very long journey, and it is worth it. Especially Shadowbringer's ending. There's like a saying for it. If you could go through ARR, you'll love this game.
True.
ARR could be the slope that a lot of people have a hard time going through. One of the reasons being is because it's the oldest expansion, and that's the one you start out with. So if you could go through that, the rest is just
I agree.
quality 10 out
I
of
feel like
10.
that's what we tell everyone
For
here.
dungeons
as well.
and raiding, I think, for dungeons at least, it starts kicking off in Stormblood. From Stormblood, I thought the dungeons were super fun and interactive. For raids, they're all good.
I reckon the last few Heaven's Ward ones
every
as
raid
well.
is memorable. The music is 10 out of 10. It sets the tone. When you first fight the primals, oh man, it is so epic.
Fighting
Not
the
over
primals.
exaggerating. I thought fighting the primals with that music was one of the best things. And also, this game did a fantastic job of scaling you down into any raid content you would like to do that is from the older expansions. And WoW, I remember streamers had to do an event like Project 60 or Project 30, whatever you want to call it. We would basically stop leveling at a certain point to downgrade ourselves. But in this game, if you want to do old content with the item level that existed at that time, you can set that up and go through the raid. It's not going to be exactly the same since abilities changed, but you get the idea of how it was back in the day. And lastly, the PvP. I will be completely honest, PvP is probably the least favorite thing I've had in Final Fantasy. I do not think it is terrible. Maybe I'm just used to WoW. As a DPS, I felt like having 1 CC on a long cooldown, it felt bad.
Right.
I want to keep this short because I could talk forever about this.
I want to know more. I don't want him to keep it
And
short.
tanks and healers, they are extremely hard to kill in this game. I guess it's the same as WoW, but you have less CC and you have to rely heavily on your teammates if you play the 4v4 mode.
Oh my gosh,
It almost works the same as WoW. You still have to set up kills, but it lacks the potential of being able to carry by yourself, in my opinion. I think that's the best way I could say it. So personally for me, it is not my favorite thing to do, as well as my goal was to get to level 80, then start PvPing. Because technically, yes, you could start PvPing at level 30. However, you will have a lot of abilities that you have no clue on how to use. So that being said, I will try more PvP now that I'm 80 after my Necromancer title. PvP was the reason why I started playing this game, but I fell in love with the other things. I will do more PvP though, I promise. I will close it off with there will be more news about PvP in Endwalker live letter, which is very, very soon.
Oh so, yeah, we did get more
info. Keep in touch with that if you're a PvP fiend. But for me, I think I'm retiring and becoming a full-time RP player. I know people are gonna laugh at me. Savix rank 1 Red Paladin, downgraded to role-playing Andy. Listen, roleplay in this game is is amazing, okay? All the jokes aside, if you're a fan of MMOs, I think you should give Final Fantasy XIV a try. Coming from a long-time MMO player, I highly recommend it.
Yes.
And that is it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did,
was really good.
Leave a like and subscribe for future content. Also, I have a second channel, so if you ever want to watch my
really enjoyed that.
Final Fantasy journey, you could go there and check them out.
That was awesome.
Thanks.
See you in Endwalker! Yes! Oh wait, there's more chat, there's more. Secret ending. I wanna watch this. Oh, it's like his community. Oh, this is cute. This is so cute.
We're gonna start clapping. Edge, start clapping. I'll play the scene again when I'm level 80 and I've cleared Ultra. This will be the ending right here, showing the memories back.
Aww. This is so wholesome. Hell yeah. That was really great, guys. This is my new family. Aww. is so wholesome. That was so good. I really enjoyed that.